Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ferb Theory. Back with another episode, episode 2 of this series. Today we will be discussing if Dr. Doofenshmirtz, Mr. Doofenshmirtz, Doof, whatever you have, was a test tube baby. There's some pretty strong evidence supporting this. This is going to be part 1 of a 2-part episode, possibly 3-part, who knows, we'll see.
Could be.
So I'm going to hand it over to these two fine gentlemen, Bookie and Warren. Pope is Minecraft,
Of course.
whatever you want. But here you
go. Before we get started, I would just like to say that part 2 will be a very interesting episode. It will be about.
Let's not give it away.
Okay.
You gotta
can I just give the premise?
Okay, you gotta keep the viewers on the edge of the seat, though.
Actually,
you gotta want them coming back.
I'm starting to think maybe not.
Okay. Well, it has to do with a certain
triangle
head boy.
Oh yes, a certain beloved character that you guys may or may not have seen in the show. He's thrown in there occasionally.
Yeah, doesn't really talk too much, but he's there.
No, he talks a lot. The other one doesn't talk.
Who knows?
You know.
Anyway, let's get back on. Let's get back on track here.
So for the entrance of this theory, the biggest part is the fact that in almost every backstory, Doof talks about how his parents, both of his parents, weren't there on the day of his actual birth.
Every backstory involves him going back to what's the name of his town?
Gimmelstump.
Gimmelstump. Not necessarily everyone goes back to him not being him not having parents at his birth, but just him having parents that don't really acknowledge him as a child.
He's neglected.
Yes, very much. So. Treat it as if he wasn't even their child.
Exactly. Like there's Roger, who's the mayor, and they love him, and
he's fantastic at kickball. It's all great.
Yeah, and then there's just Doof, who's the abused and neglected, and look how he turns out. Yeah. He's evil.
So, the first point that we would like to make is one of the first backstories that Doof has is the fact that Doof, when he was born, both of his parents failed to show up to his own birth, including his mother. Yes, his mother.
Which is definitely a joke. But we can dig into that.
It was a joke, but extrapolating from that, I mean, if you think, like, what other options are there? Was he sent down to Earth from God, a.k.a. Ferb?
Did the stork come and drop him into that?
Yeah,
who
knows?
Hospital where the possibilities is wide open for this thing.
I know, yes.
So he was like in a test program where they're. This is just pure speculation. This isn't actually part of the theory. This is just my thought.
Yeah.
He's part of a government test program, and they made him, and then they chose a random family without any children because Roger was the younger child.
Roger was the.
So was it the U.S. government? Or
no, it was the Jerusalem government.
So it was Jerusalem. The is that the country or is that like the city?
That's the
Jerusalem. No,
the country is Jerusalem, and then Gimmelstump is the.
It's heavily based.
It's heavily based in Germany.
Yeah.
So
I'm a little rusty on this.
That's just background.
Yeah.
All right. So and then he comments on later how he was partially raised by ocelots for some of his younger childhood, which means that his parents abandoned him at some point.
Yeah.
And he went to the wild and then was raised there. So what I believe is the government then forced his parents to take him back. But again, this is just speculation on my part. I haven't gone over this
I can see how that's possible. That's very possible.
I believe that was just kind of a throwaway piece, seeing as later in the series they had him recall how he was. This is also a very pertinent point. How he was forced to dress up as a gnome, but that was clearly post Ocelot phase.
Yeah, that was post Ocelot after they.
If his parents
mayhaps,
or if the government gave his parents Doof, right? Was that pre-Ocelot or post-Ocelot?
That was pre-Ocelot, and then they abandoned him.
So why would
then he went to Ocelot.
So would the program have to be because they would definitely have to be who are these parents?
They're just a family without kids.
So why would they do a program with a random kid for just a random family? That's the thing.
What I would like to
say, a controlled area. What
I would like to say is that mayhaps Doof was prior to the Ocelots, he had no connection to the older Doofenshmirtz, the parent Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah.
And rather, the parents, they found him, and they took him in as their own.
Yeah.
And then, because of this, they felt that they could treat him however they wanted, as in dress him up as a gnome.
Yeah.
So like throughout the series, Doofenshmirtz, like through his childhood, he was always treated as the lower child, like his and this is a throwaway point, but his younger brother Roger is like good looking, charming,
How
and
often is it
Doofenshmirtz
stated
is
that he's the younger brother?
what?
How often is it stated
Some-
that he's the younger
That's
brother?
always he has never
My
referred
younger brother
to
Roger.
yeah my younger brother and
Okay.
He doesn't always say it, but
Yeah.
when
But
it,
when
it's
it
never
does,
said.
so he's
but-
definitely not the older brother.
no, he is 100 because
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
the mother makes dresses because she thought
Oh,
Roger was
yeah.
gonna be a girl.
Yeah.
And then
And
Heinz
it
is forced
makes-
to wear them because Roger was a guy. And also, they always love Roger. Like,
Yeah.
say, so Doofenshmirtz or
Like the typical
Heinz-
youngest child is the most loved child.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they effectively shut him out of the family
Yeah,
and
which is-
forced him to do menial labor and shit.
Yeah. So it's like
I'm sorry, I mean stuff. This is family friendly.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'll edit that out in post.
And
Um,
this.
I'm sure. I'm
yes,
sure.
of course. I will take that much time.
It's like back in England, like the 1600s. All those the manual labor.
Alright.
The
Indentured servants.
So from there,
anyway.
what I believe caused the government to do this is I think it has ties to Germany. See, Germany, they're pretty famous, Nazi Germany.
Yep.
During World War
Really?
II, their experiments on humans.
So is Doof really?
I say that Doof is a result of a Nazi.
Do we know Doof's age?
We don't know Doof's exact age. I'm saying that this.
So we
It-
would have
it-
to. So let's say this is towards the end of the wars. Let's
Yeah.
say 43, 44
Yeah.
ish. So if we go to what 2012, 2013,
I'm saying
what is that?
potentially he's not exactly the direct, but rather like a runoff. So like. They
Oh,
could
so
have-
like the experiments continue
it hasn't.
elsewhere.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just like secretly continued.
I see.
And then that could be a result, seeing as his head is clearly something is wrong with his head. It's a not quite a triangle like Phineas's, but it's very, very
Of course, yeah.
not
It's-
human-like.
it's
Or-
interesting.
Or consider this: they had already grown him, but he needed to be kept in containment for a certain number of
That
years.
could be true.
And like there was a human rights thing that they couldn't just because he was already considered
Yeah,
a
during the
living thing.
Nuremberg. During
They,
Nuremberg.
yeah, they
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
just disconnect it.
So were these
So he
like
was kept
hidden?
alive.
Were these like
Oh,
hidden
and this-
trials then?
Yeah, like
after
hidden
Nuremberg?
trials. Like, what do we do with these?
Because those had to have continued. You can't just stop because all the Nazi occupied countries.
Yeah,
There's
they
probably
were.
some of the scientists probably
Yeah.
went to those countries.
Yeah, and then
Because there's scientists. There was I think a Nazi scientist that was prosecuted like recently
yeah,
because
Yeah,
of because they just found out that he was who he
that
was.
yeah, because but I would say that.
Anyway,
Anyway. So what I would like to say is that further proof of him being somehow genetically modified is how time after time, Perry, he continually, clearly, any other human would die in any of those situations,
Yeah.
such as I would like to point out episode 1,
Oh,
the
the-
magnetic ball
Oh,
that
yeah.
crushes him.
the tinfoil.
Any other person would die. Any other person facing a ton of tinfoil flying at them at
Doof would have died.
And
hundreds of miles an hour.
Yeah.
Any human would die, but I believe that something genetically is not fair play.
So
And-
are
yeah,
you
he-
arguing that Doof is not only a test tube baby, but he's a genetically modified
I
superhero?
believe he's
he's not a superhero, but he
He's
is
not a
like
super-
not a superhero, but
He's
I
a-
would say,
like, at
especially
least
with
in
his
terms of-
advanced intellect,
At least in terms of
seeing as
let's
yeah, he's more super than the average person.
at
but,
least in terms of like his characteristics, not his
Yeah.
personality.
yeah.
saying
So
So he's like Superman. He's indestructible.
he's
Yeah.
indestructible, and then going into his intellect. I believe that is because obviously someone is not able to not.
Well, there is the whole theory.
other
that,
than like Phineas,
there
or
is the
Well,
whole theory that
we're gonna
Doof
get into that.
Wink,
that
We're
Doof
gonna get
worked
into
for the special agents. The
There is
Animal
that
Special
point.
That's not
Agents.
that's not a theory. That is a
That's a
a
proven
fact.
point?
That's a proven point.
Is it?
In the last 2 episodes,
Oh,
the
is it?
Alpha
Is that-
Files.
We haven't. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know my stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay. So,
And all right.
so they wanted to hire someone with that superior
Yeah.
intellect to manage the animals and such.
And another thing going into that point is he is constantly
Oh no, it's still recording.
Yeah.
Okay, phone just shut off.
he constantly uses random innators on himself, and he has never experienced physical pain or anything like that from his innators.
I think
Or-
he's shown
might have-
pain.
Or like
Yeah.
he,
I don't
or
think-
like he no long lasting damage.
Yeah,
like
there's
he's
no-
been
Exactly.
he's been
Like
hit
you
by
seen him
like
hurt. And
a
stuff like that,
yeah
but
he's been hurt, but like
He has maybe like,
you would
like,
expect
maybe like
him-
A, like a,
But he
s-
recovers
like minor
extremely-
injury.
he recovers
grand
on a
scheme of
daily
things.
basis.
Yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
blown up and everything.
Yeah.
Falls like 10 stories or something.
It's
Just okay.
It's not natural. I believe.
He is a genetically modified test tube.
There's no way. He has to be.
Definitely
It's either
no
that
other
or he's just
excuse.
like a flat out just superhero. Like,
but
anyway, I think
with
that
his early future.
we should cut this one off and
Okay.
move on to part 2
Well,
soon.
for part 2, I believe that the points that you want to keep in mind are the super intelligence as well as the extremely quick working of
Yeah,
Doof,
exactly.
because that will certainly wrap in with what we're about to say in part 2. But
Alright.
I believe that we have covered everything in this theory. We will leave something
it's
in the
closed.
iCard
Shut-
saying
it's
if you
closed.
will agree or disagree. Thank you for viewing.
And we will see you guys in part 2.
Maybe even part 3.
We'll see. We'll see how we
don't
continue
know,
this,
don't know,
but
we don't know.
we'll see you in the next episode here.